You're reaching a turning point. There is a moment in every chosen one's life when everything feels like it's collapsing and aligning at the same time. This is that moment. You didn't click on this by accident. Something inside you knows the ground beneath your feet is shifting. The confusion, the pressure, the sudden clarity mixed with uncertainty. It's not random. It's a turning point. Right now, you may feel like you're standing at the edge of something invisible. You can't fully see it, but you can feel it. A silent pull, a quiet knowing. The old version of you is fading. The mask is cracking. The life you tolerated no longer fits. This is not chaos. This is transformation. Most people never reach this threshold. They ignore the call. They silence the discomfort. But you didn't. You stayed awake through the pain. You questioned what others accepted. And now, because you refuse to sleep through your own destiny, you are being positioned for a shift that will redefine everything. This turning point feels heavy because it is sacred. It demands courage. It demands truth. And the reason it feels so intense is because your soul recognizes it before your mind does. You are not lost. You are being redirected. The chosen one is not chosen for comfort. They are chosen for impact. If you have always felt different, it is because you were never meant to blend in. From childhood, you sensed more than others. You felt deeper. You questioned deeper. While others followed noise, you searched for meaning. That difference was not a flaw, it was preparation. Being chosen does not mean being superior. It means being entrusted, entrusted with awareness, entrusted with responsibility, entrusted with the weight of seeing through illusions. And that awareness can feel isolating. Because once you see clearly, you can never go back to pretending. The challenges you faced were not punishments. They were training. The betrayals sharpened your discernment. The loneliness strengthened your connection with the Creator. The setbacks humbled you and purified your intentions. Every trial refined you. Every hardship carved wisdom into your heart. Society often tries to silence those who question it. It rewards conformity and punishes consciousness. When you began to outgrow certain environments, people misunderstood you. Some mocked you. Some distanced themselves, not because you were wrong, but because your growth exposed their comfort zones. A turning point for the chosen one is rarely loud. It is internal. It is the moment you decide you will no longer shrink to make others comfortable. It is the moment you choose integrity over approval. It is the moment you stop betraying your inner voice. That is the real shift. Spiritual awakening is not a trend. It is a stripping away. It removes illusions you once relied on. It forces you to confront your ego. It humbles you. It breaks you open so that your faith becomes real, not inherited. You begin to see that your life has been guided in ways you could not understand before. You start noticing signs, not fantasies, not exaggerations, but patterns. Doors closing that once seemed permanent. New insights appearing during quiet moments. A growing discomfort with anything that pulls you away from truth. Your intuition becomes sharper. Your tolerance for deception becomes lower. You may have felt intense seasons of isolation recently. Friends drifting, conversations feeling empty, opportunities dissolving. That is not abandonment. That is alignment. When you reach a turning point, what no longer matches your purpose begins to fall away. And it can feel like loss before it feels like clarity. There were nights you questioned everything. Nights you asked why your path felt harder than others. But what you did not see was that difficulty was shaping capacity. You were being built to carry something greater than convenience. Strength is not developed in comfort. It is forged in surrender and patience. The chosen one's turning point often comes after exhaustion, after you have tried to fix everything externally, after you have chased validation and found it empty. When you finally sit still and say, I cannot keep living disconnected from my purpose, that is when the shift begins. You begin to value peace over applause, depth over popularity, obedience to the Creator over acceptance from people. And when that shift happens, your entire trajectory changes. Not because the world changes overnight, but because you do. There will be resistance. There always is. When you step into clarity, it disrupts old dynamics. Some people will try to pull you back into the version of you they were comfortable with. They will remind you of who you used to be. But you are not here to repeat your past. You are here to evolve beyond it. A turning point is a decision. A quiet, powerful decision to honor your calling even when it costs you familiarity. It is choosing growth over fear, faith over doubt, purpose over distraction, and that decision echoes into every area of your life. You may feel both fear and excitement right now. That is normal. Fear shows you the magnitude of what you are stepping into. Excitement reveals that your spirit recognizes its own expansion. Do not interpret fear as a sign to retreat. Sometimes it is confirmation that you are moving beyond limitation. Remember, being chosen does not mean you will never struggle again. It means your struggles will have meaning. It means your story will carry weight. It means your obedience will create impact you may not fully see in this life. You are reaching a turning point because you are ready, not perfect, not finished, but ready, ready to release what drains you, ready to trust divine timing, ready to walk a path that aligns with truth even if it is narrow. This is the moment you stop asking for permission to become who you were created to be. This is the moment you stop dimming your light to protect fragile egos. This is the moment you embrace responsibility for your gifts and guard them with discipline. Your turning point is not about sudden fame or dramatic miracles. It is about inner alignment. It is about waking up each day with intention. It is about speaking truth with wisdom. It is about living in a way that reflects your faith, not just your feelings. The old chapter is closing, not with chaos, but with clarity. You can feel it. Conversations no longer resonate. Habits no longer satisfy. Dreams are becoming more vivid. Your heart is pulling you towards something deeper. That pull is not random. It is direction. Do not rush this process. Turning points are sacred transitions. Sit with it. Pray through it. Reflect deeply. Let your next move be intentional, not reactive. When you move with awareness, you move with power. You were never meant to stay small. You were never meant to live half awake. And now that you have tasted awareness, there is no going back. The only path is forward, forward into growth, forward into obedience, forward into purpose. If this message resonates with you, it is not coincidence. It is confirmation. You are not crazy. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are transforming. And transformation always feels uncomfortable before it feels victorious. So embrace this turning point. Stand firm in your faith. Protect your peace. Refuse to return to environments that suffocate your spirit. And trust that the one who guided you this far will not abandon you now. If you are ready to step fully into this new chapter, show it. Like this video as a declaration that you accept your growth. Comment, "I am ready," to affirm your turning point. And subscribe to Return to Awakening so you never miss the messages meant to strengthen your path. Your awakening is not an accident. And this is only the beginning. There will be moments in this season where silence becomes your greatest teacher, where distractions lose their flavor and you are left alone with your thoughts. Do not fear that silence. That is where clarity is born. That is where you begin to hear the difference between ego and guidance. As you reach this turning point, you may notice your standards rising. Things you once tolerated now feel unbearable. Conversations that revolve around gossip feel draining. Goals that once excited you now feel empty. This is not arrogance. This is evolution. Growth will demand separation, not out of pride, but out of protection. You cannot carry everyone into your next level. Some people were assigned to your past, not your future. Letting go does not mean you hate them. It means you honor your direction. At this stage, your intuition will become louder than external opinions. You will start sensing red flags faster. You will feel energy shifts instantly. You will recognize when something is misaligned without needing proof. That sensitivity is a gift. Guard it. The turning point also exposes hidden fears. Fear of failure, fear of visibility, fear of being misunderstood. But understand this, those fears are surfacing because you are approaching expansion. You cannot step into greater responsibility while carrying unexamined doubt. You may feel a strong urge to simplify your life, to detach from noise, to focus only on what truly matters. That instinct is wisdom. Complexity often hides confusion. Simplicity reveals purpose. Old coping mechanisms will begin to fall apart. The distractions you once used to escape discomfort will lose their effect. You will realize you can no longer numb yourself the way you used to. That is growth. You are being called to face life consciously. This turning point is also about accountability. You begin to see where you played small, where you settled, where you compromised your values for approval. Instead of shame, you feel conviction. And conviction is powerful. It moves you forward without crushing you. There will be a deeper hunger inside you now, a hunger for truth, for discipline, for alignment with your Creator's will. Surface-level motivation will not satisfy you anymore. You crave substance. You crave meaning. Do not be surprised if opportunities begin to shift around you. Some doors will close firmly. Others will open quietly. Pay attention not just to what opens, but to how it feels. Peace is a greater indicator than excitement. You are learning that not every battle deserves your energy. You are becoming selective with your time, your words, your focus. That is maturity. Power is not loud. It is controlled. At this turning point, your vision may feel bigger than your current reality. That gap can feel overwhelming. But remember, vision is given before capacity is fully developed. Step by step, your strength will catch up to your calling. There may also be moments of doubt, moments when you wonder if you imagined this shift, but then something happens, a reminder, a realization, a sign in your reflection that you are no longer who you used to be. That is evidence. You are shedding identities that were built from survival, the people pleaser, the overachiever seeking validation, the silent one afraid to speak. Those versions served a purpose once, but they cannot lead you where you are going. This turning point is teaching you to trust the process, even when you cannot trace every outcome. Faith deepens here, not blind faith, conscious faith, the kind that has been tested and still stands. Your discipline will matter more now than your emotions. Feelings will fluctuate. Some days you will feel unstoppable. Other days you will feel uncertain, but commitment will carry you through both. You will also begin to recognize the difference between loneliness and solitude. Loneliness drains you. Solitude restores you. At this level, solitude becomes sacred. It sharpens your focus. It strengthens your connection with your purpose. People may say you have changed, and they will be right. You have changed. You are no longer available for chaos disguised as excitement. You are no longer entertained by dysfunction. You are becoming intentional. The turning point is not about becoming someone new. It is about returning to who you were always meant to be. Beneath fear, beneath conditioning, beneath expectation, the real you has been waiting. There is also a responsibility that comes with awakening. When you see clearly, you cannot support what is wrong. You cannot participate in what violates your values. Integrity becomes non-negotiable. You will start making decisions that align with long-term purpose rather than short-term comfort. That shift alone will separate you from many. But separation is sometimes the evidence of elevation. Your focus will sharpen. Distractions that once consumed hours will lose their grip. You will become protective of your time because you understand its value. Every hour becomes an investment. This season will test your consistency. It is easy to feel inspired for a moment. It is harder to remain steady when results are not immediate. But this turning point is about building something lasting, not something flashy. You may revisit past wounds during this phase, not to relive them, but to finally heal them. Healing is part of preparation. Unresolved pain cannot be carried into higher responsibility. There will be a calm confidence forming inside you, not loud, not arrogant, but steady, a quiet assurance that you are moving in the right direction, even if the path is unfamiliar. The more you honor your alignment, the clearer your next steps will become. Not all at once, but enough for today. And sometimes that is all you need. At this stage, you will begin to realize that clarity does not always arrive as a loud announcement. Sometimes it comes as a quiet refusal, a refusal to go back, a refusal to settle, a refusal to betray what you now know is true. That refusal is power. Your circle may grow smaller, but your conversations will grow deeper. You will start craving authenticity over entertainment, depth over distraction, truth over trends, and that shift will naturally filter who remains close to you. This turning point will also challenge your patience. You will see glimpses of what is possible for your life, yet you will still have to walk through process. That tension between vision and reality can feel uncomfortable, but process is protection. You are learning to move without announcing every step. Not every plan needs validation. Not every goal needs applause. Silence will become strategy. Privacy will become strength. There will be moments when the old life tries to tempt you back. Familiar habits, familiar people, familiar comfort. But what once felt safe will now feel suffocating. That discomfort is confirmation that you have outgrown it. You may notice that your reactions are changing. Situations that once triggered anger now inspire reflection. Criticism that once hurt now teaches you discernment. You are no longer reacting from wounds. You are responding from awareness. The turning point is also about stewardship. The gifts you carry are not random. Your insight, your empathy, your resilience. They were shaped through experience, and now you must choose to use them wisely. You will begin to see how every setback redirected you, the rejection that hurt you, the opportunity that fell apart, the relationship that ended. In hindsight, each one prevented you from settling beneath your calling. There is a deeper alignment happening between your beliefs and your actions. You can no longer say you value purpose while living in distraction. You can no longer claim growth while feeding old patterns. Integrity is becoming your compass. At this turning point, discipline becomes love, waking up with intention, guarding your thoughts, protecting your focus. These are not restrictions, they are acts of self-respect. You will feel an increasing responsibility to lead by example, not by preaching, not by forcing, but by living differently. Your consistency will speak louder than your words ever could. There may be seasons where progress feels invisible, where you wonder if anything is truly changing, but internal shifts often happen long before external results appear. Roots grow in silence before trees rise in public. You are learning to trust timing, not rushing ahead of your preparation, not lagging behind your potential, moving when guided, pausing when instructed. That rhythm is maturity. The turning point also sharpens your awareness of influence, what you watch, what you listen to, who you allow to speak into your life. You will become selective because you understand that influence shapes direction. Your peace will become non-negotiable. You will walk away from arguments that once entertained you. You will decline invitations that compromise your values. You will choose calm over chaos, even if it means standing alone. There will be a refining of your motives. Why do you want success? Why do you want recognition? Why do you want growth? At this level, your intentions are being purified so that your purpose remains sincere. You are stepping into ownership. Ownership of your mistakes, ownership of your growth, ownership of your future. Blame will no longer feel empowering. Responsibility will. The turning point may feel subtle to others, but it feels monumental to you. Because internally, you know something has shifted. You cannot unsee what you have seen. You cannot unknow what you now understand. You are becoming comfortable with being misunderstood, not because you enjoy it, but because you value truth more than approval. That confidence is rare. There will be days when you feel stretched beyond comfort, but stretching builds capacity, and capacity prepares you for greater trust, greater impact, greater responsibility. As you continue forward, you will notice that fear loses its control. It may still whisper, but it no longer commands. Your faith, strengthened through experience, speaks louder. You are not chasing validation anymore. You are pursuing alignment, and alignment brings a peace that applause never could. This turning point is less about external change and more about internal commitment, a commitment to remain awake, a commitment to remain disciplined, a commitment to remain faithful even when no one is watching. And with every small, consistent choice, you are building a life that reflects who you truly are becoming. You will start to recognize that this turning point is not a single event. It is a series of conscious decisions made daily, quiet decisions, private decisions, the kind no one applauds but that shape your entire future. There is a strength forming in you that does not need to prove itself. You no longer feel the urge to argue your worth. You no longer feel pressured to explain your growth to those committed to misunderstanding you. Silence becomes dignity. As your awareness deepens, your tolerance for self-deception disappears. You catch your own excuses faster. You confront your own inconsistencies quicker. This is maturity. You are no longer fighting the world. You are mastering yourself. You will notice how your prayers become more focused, less about asking for comfort, more about asking for clarity, less about escaping difficulty, more about gaining strength to endure it with integrity. At this stage, distractions will reveal themselves clearly. What once looked harmless now feels like sabotage. You understand that not every opportunity is assignment. Not every open door is meant to be entered. Discernment sharpens. There may be grief in this season. Grief for the old version of you. Grief for relationships that could not evolve with you. Grief for time you feel was wasted. Allow yourself to process it. Growth does not deny emotion. It refines it. This turning point will test your consistency in small things. How you manage your time. How you speak when frustrated. How you respond when no one is affirming you. Greatness is built in these unnoticed moments. You are learning that obedience to truth sometimes feels lonely, but loneliness in integrity is stronger than companionship in compromise. That realization alone changes everything. Your vision will begin to feel more structured, less fantasy, more strategy. You will move from dreaming about purpose to preparing for it. That shift marks true transformation. You may experience internal battles between comfort and calling. Comfort whispers, stay where it is safe. Calling whispers, step forward. And every time you choose calling, your courage expands. There will be confirmation along the way, not always dramatic. Sometimes it will be peace after making a difficult decision. Sometimes it will be unexpected clarity in a moment of doubt. Pay attention to those confirmations. As you grow, you will become more protective of your energy, not defensive, protective. You understand now that your focus is sacred. Where attention goes, life flows. The turning point also exposes hidden strengths. You will handle situations that once overwhelmed you with surprising calm. You will navigate conflict with wisdom instead of impulse. You will see your own progress in real time. You are stepping into a phase where discipline feels empowering rather than restrictive. Structure becomes freedom. Boundaries become peace. Commitment becomes stability. There may be moments when progress feels slow, but slow growth builds strong foundations. Fast growth without foundation collapses under pressure. You are being built to last. You will find yourself speaking less but meaning more, acting less impulsively but more intentionally, reacting less emotionally but more thoughtfully. This is alignment in action. At this turning point, you understand that not everyone will celebrate your elevation. Some will feel left behind. Some will project their insecurities onto your growth. Respond with grace. Continue forward. Your faith is becoming experiential, not just something you inherited, not just something you were told, but something you have tested in hardship and found reliable. That kind of faith cannot be shaken easily. You are no longer intimidated by the unknown. You respect it, you prepare for it, but you do not fear it the way you once did. Uncertainty now feels like possibility. The deeper you move into this shift, the more you realize that purpose is not about spotlight. It is about service. It is about responsibility. It is about living in a way that reflects truth consistently. And every challenge you face from this point forward will no longer feel like random chaos. It will feel like refinement, like shaping, like preparation for something that requires the strongest version of you. You are beginning to sense that this shift is irreversible. There is no returning to ignorance, no shrinking back into old habits just to feel accepted. Once awareness expands, it demands responsibility, and you are accepting that responsibility with quiet strength. At this turning point, you will notice how quickly you recover from setbacks. What once would have discouraged you for weeks now only slows you down for a moment. Resilience is no longer something you hope for. It is something you embody. Your conversations with yourself are changing. The inner critic that once dominated your thoughts is losing its authority. In its place, a calmer, wiser voice is emerging, a voice that corrects you without condemning you. There is also a deeper understanding forming within you about patience. You realize that rushing ahead of preparation can damage what you are meant to build. So instead of forcing outcomes, you focus on refining character. This turning point will reveal how powerful self-control truly is. Walking away when you could retaliate, remaining silent when you could expose, choosing dignity when ego demands reaction. That restraint is strength. You are starting to see that your past did not disqualify you, it qualified you. The mistakes taught humility, the failures built empathy, the pain created depth. Nothing was wasted. As you continue forward, you will become more comfortable with being different, not in a rebellious way, but in a grounded way. You are no longer seeking to blend in with systems that contradict your values. There will be moments when doors open that align with your growth, and you will feel ready, not because you know everything, but because you trust the one guiding you. Preparation and faith will meet in those moments. The turning point is also teaching you emotional discipline. Feelings are acknowledged, but they no longer control your direction. You feel fully, yet you choose wisely. That balance is maturity. You may reflect on who you were a year ago and barely recognize that version of yourself. The fears that controlled you, the doubts that paralyzed you, the compromises you made. That distance is proof of growth. There will be a refining of your habits, small adjustments in your routine that seem insignificant at first, but over time, those small disciplines will shape extraordinary outcomes. Consistency becomes your quiet advantage. You are also learning to trust yourself more, not blindly, but confidently. You have seen how far you have come. You have survived what once felt unbearable. That evidence builds self-trust. At this stage, you understand that purpose is not discovered in comfort zones. It is revealed in obedience, in showing up even when motivation fades, in staying aligned even when shortcuts tempt you. This turning point will strengthen your boundaries. You will say no without guilt. You will decline what disrupts your peace. You will protect your calling without apology. There may be tests that try to pull you back into old patterns, old emotions, old reactions, but this time you will respond differently, and that different response will confirm that transformation is real. Your awareness of time will deepen. You will feel urgency, not panic, a focused urgency to invest your days wisely, to build intentionally, to leave no potential unused. The deeper you move into this shift, the more gratitude you will feel. Gratitude for the hardships that shaped you. Gratitude for the lessons that humbled you. Gratitude for the guidance that never left you. You are stepping into stability, Not perfect stability, but grounded stability. Your emotions may fluctuate, but your values remain firm. Your circumstances may change, but your direction remains clear. The turning point is shaping you into someone dependable, someone disciplined, someone trustworthy, and those qualities will carry more weight than any temporary success. You are not just reaching a new level, you are becoming capable of sustaining it, and that is the difference between temporary elevation and lasting transformation. There is a quiet boldness rising inside you now, not loud, not desperate for attention, but steady, grounded, certain. You no longer need external validation to confirm what you already feel within. At this turning point, you begin to move with intention instead of impulse. Every decision is filtered through purpose. Every commitment is weighed against alignment. You are no longer living on autopilot. You will start noticing how your presence affects rooms differently. When you walk in, you observe more, you speak less. But when you do speak, there is weight behind your words. That weight comes from experience. The things that once intimidated you begin to lose their power, not because they disappear, but because your perspective shifts. You realize that many fears were illusions magnified by doubt. You are also becoming more aware of your weaknesses, but instead of hiding them, you work on them, quietly, consistently, without announcement. Growth in private creates strength in public. This turning point demands sacrifice. Some comforts must be released, some distractions must be cut off, some habits must be confronted. Sacrifice is not loss when it leads to alignment. You may feel periods of deep reflection, questioning your intentions, evaluating your progress, measuring your consistency. That self-examination is healthy. It keeps you sharp. There will be moments when you feel stretched beyond what feels comfortable, responsibilities increasing, expectations rising, but that stretch is expanding your capacity. You are being trusted with more because you can handle more. You are learning that leadership begins with self-leadership, managing your thoughts, managing your emotions, managing your time. Before you influence others, you master yourself. At this stage, you begin to value legacy over popularity, impact over image, substance over surface. That shift alone separates you from distraction. The turning point also teaches you humility. The more you grow, the more you realize how much there is to learn. That humility keeps you grounded while you rise. You may feel a stronger pull toward discipline in your daily routine, waking earlier, planning intentionally, guarding your focus. These small adjustments are shaping a stronger version of you. There will be challenges that test your patience deeply, situations that tempt you to react out of frustration, but your response will determine your elevation, and you are learning to respond with control. You are also becoming comfortable with delayed gratification, understanding that meaningful results take time. Quick rewards no longer impress you. Lasting growth does. The deeper you move into this shift, the more you detach from comparison. You stop measuring your journey against someone else's timeline. Your path is unique. Your pace is intentional. At this turning point, your standards rise in every area, in relationships, in work, in personal discipline. You expect more from yourself first, and that expectation reshapes your environment. You are no longer chasing noise. You are building quietly, strategically, faithfully, and that quiet consistency will speak louder than any announcement ever could. There may be moments of exhaustion. Growth requires energy, but even in fatigue, you will feel fulfillment, because you know you are building something meaningful. You are becoming less reactive to praise and less shaken by criticism. Stability is forming within you. Your identity is no longer dependent on external opinions. This turning point is not just about where you are going. It is about who you are becoming on the way there. Character is being carved. Discipline is being strengthened. Faith is being solidified. And with every intentional step forward, you are proving to yourself that this awakening is not temporary emotion. It is a permanent transformation unfolding in real time. You are starting to recognize patterns you once ignored, cycles that repeated because lessons were postponed. Now, awareness interrupts repetition. You refuse to relive what you have already learned from. At this turning point, your confidence is no longer loud declarations. It is consistency. It is showing up when you said you would. It is honoring commitments even when motivation fades. You will notice that your emotions no longer swing as wildly as before. There is balance forming within you. You feel deeply, but you are not ruled by what you feel. Your discernment is sharper now. You can sense misalignment early. You can detect insincerity quickly. That awareness protects you from unnecessary detours. There may be invitations that look attractive but feel wrong internally. This time, you will trust that internal signal. You are no longer desperate for opportunities. You are aligned with assignment. The turning point also reshapes your relationship with failure. You no longer interpret mistakes as identity. You see them as instruction. Every misstep becomes data for growth. You are becoming intentional about what you consume mentally. Conversations, media, influences. You understand that your mind is fertile ground and you refuse to plant negativity in it. There will be days when doubt whispers again. But this time, doubt does not dominate. It visits briefly and leaves because your foundation is stronger. You are learning that growth sometimes feels like loss before it feels like gain. Losing certain habits, losing certain connections, losing old comforts, but what you gain in clarity outweighs what you release. At this stage, your patience with yourself deepens. You correct yourself without self-hatred. You push yourself without self-destruction. That balance is powerful. You are no longer intimidated by silence. In fact, you seek it. Silence sharpens your thinking. It refines your strategy. It strengthens your connection with your Creator. The turning point reveals how much power you have over your reactions. You cannot control every circumstance, but you can control your response. That realization changes everything. You may feel a stronger commitment to integrity, doing what is right even when it is inconvenient, even when no one sees it, even when it costs you something. Your long-term vision is becoming clearer, not every detail, but the direction, and direction is enough to keep you moving. You are no longer chasing quick validation. You are building steady credibility, brick by brick, habit by habit, choice by choice. There will be moments when old fears attempt to resurface. Fear of not being enough, fear of failing publicly, but you now have evidence of resilience, evidence of growth, evidence of survival. The turning point is teaching you emotional maturity. You apologize when necessary. You forgive when possible. You release when required. You are becoming more solution-oriented, less focused on complaining, more focused on adjusting. That shift increases your effectiveness. Your self-respect is rising. You no longer beg for space in rooms where you are tolerated instead of valued. You walk away with dignity. This stage of your life is about refinement, polishing character, strengthening discipline, deepening faith. You are being shaped into someone reliable under pressure. And as this transformation continues, you feel it clearly. This is not a temporary phase. This is the foundation of who you are becoming.